The Temple of Time is a reoccurring location in the Legend of Zelda series, home of the Master Sword. It serves a gateway between Hyrule and the Sacred Realm. But what's the history behind the ancient Temple of Time? This legendary temple has appeared a number of times throughout the Zelda timeline, from the very beginning till the very end. It all started long ago in the very first game in the timeline, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. The Temple of Time is located in Lanayru Desert. Link must travel through the Lanayru mining facility to gain access to it. He is reunited with Zelda, but their time together is cut short when Girahim shows up. Zelda entrusts Link with the Goddess Harp, and together with Impa she runs through the Gate of Time. Impa destroys the Gate of Time to prevent Girahim from following them. Link must then find a way to activate the Gate of Time. It is implied the sealed temple in the sealed ground becomes the second Temple of Time. Given the sealed temple's incredibly similar layout to the Temple of Time from Ocarina of Time, the fact the Master Sword is placed in a pedestal behind a large pair of doors, and that the temple houses the only remaining Gate of Time. Many years after the events of Skyward Sword, there was an era of chaos with wars and fighting over the Triforce that was located in the Sacred Realm. To put an end to these wars, an ancient sage, Raru, built over the remains of the sealed temple a new Temple of Time, which contained the only entrance to the Sacred Realm. Using the Master Sword and the 3 spiritual stones as keys to the Sacred Realm, this new temple was the holy gateway between Hyrule and the Sacred Realm. Its purpose was to protect the gateway and thus the Triforce from evildoers who would seek to misuse it. Inside the Temple of Time is a chamber that is home to the Master Sword and the Pedestal of Time. However, the entrance to the chamber is sealed by the Door of Time. When the Master Sword was infused into the Pedestal of Time, it sealed that gateway in hopes of preventing all but the most worthy to reach the Sacred Realm, where the sacred Triforce lies within the Temple of Light. Within the temple stands a sacred altar which bears inscribed instructions to open the Door of Time, which leads to the chamber of the Master Sword. The inscription reads that the person needs to possess all 3 spiritual stones, stand with the Ocarina of Time and play the Song of Time. It is said that only the Hero of Time may enter the secret chambers of the temple and draw the Master Sword. If the Hero of Time withdraws the Master Sword from its pedestal, it will once again open the portal to the Sacred Realm, granting access to the Temple of Light. The time had come, the Hero of Time had arrived in the next game in the timeline, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. As Link approaches Hyrule Castle Town with all 3 spiritual stones, he sees the town in flames and Princess Zelda escaping with Impa on horseback. Zelda throws the Ocarina of Time into the city's moat, meaning for Link to find it. Ganondorf appears shortly thereafter and confronts Link about the location of Princess Zelda and Impa, which Link refuses to reveal. After Ganondorf knocks down the young hero using his dark magic, he pursues Princess Zelda and Impa into Hyrule Field. Link retrieves the Ocarina of Time from the moat and telepathically learns the Song of Time from Princess Zelda. He then travels to the Temple of Time beyond Hyrule Castle Town's main square and enters the sacred structure. Here he places the 3 spiritual stones on the altar and places the Song of Time on the Ocarina of Time. The Door of Time opens, yielding access to the Master Sword, which serves as the final key to the Sacred Realm. Link approaches the Pedestal of Time and removes the Master Sword from it. With this, a rush of magical energy issues forth from the Pedestal of Time as the portal to the Sacred Realm is opened. However, Link is too young to wield the Master Sword, so he and Navi are sealed away within the Temple of Light for 7 years until he is old enough to properly handle the Blade of Evil's Bane. Meanwhile, Ganondorf suspects that Link possesses the keys to the Door of Time and follows him into the Temple of Time, accessing the Sacred Realm through the portal Link opens. He then touches the Triforce, causing it to split apart, leaving him with only the Triforce of Power in an event known as the Great Cataclysm. Ganondorf returns to Hyrule with the Triforce of Power and uses it to bend the land to his will, ruling it with an iron fist for 7 dark years, always on the lookout for 2 other special people that now hold the other 2 pieces of the Triforce. Link awakens 7 years later in the Temple of Light, and the Sage of Light Raru sends him to awaken the rest of the 7 sages. Link successfully cleanses Hyrule's temples of evil and awakens the 5 other sages. Upon his success, he returns to the Temple of Time to learn that Princess Zelda, disguised as Sheik, is the final sage and the leader of them all. After Zelda reveals the truth of their possession of the Triforces of Wisdom and Courage, and gives Link the light arrows needed to battle Ganondorf, the King of Evil Ganondorf finally finds her and imprisons her in a rose-colored crystal. As she rises into the air, Ganondorf telepathically challenges the Hero of Time to come to his home, Ganon's castle, for a final showdown using Zelda as the bait. Link accepts the offer and travels to the castle, where he ultimately defeats Ganondorf and saves Princess Zelda. Shortly after this, Zelda uses the Ocarina of Time to send Link back to his childhood to regain his lost 7 years. He then returns to Hyrule Castle and reveals the truth of what is about to happen to Princess Zelda. After this, the Hero of Time goes on his adventure to Termina, and we don't hear anything about the Temple of Time for quite a while. But then it returns during the Shadow Invasion in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, the next game in the timeline. During Zen's invasion of Hyrule, the Temple of Time is seen once again. However, it lies in ruin and surrounded by debris of what looks to have once been a city. It also appears that at some point, the Door of Time was moved from its original place, guarding the Chamber of the Master Sword, and installed as the main door to the Temple of Time before the Temple of Time fell out of mainstream knowledge. This would later enable a new Link to go back through time's flow to visit the Temple of Time like it was in the past. Whatever the reason, the Temple of Time fell into deep ruin and became a largely forgotten place to many. It would however remain the home of the Master Sword and the Pedestal of Time, despite the sacred groves growing over the area surrounding it, and it serves as a location of one of the lost fragments of the Mirror of Twilight. After these events, the Temple of Time vanishes into history, and it is not seen again. Maybe one day it will return. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to stay up to date with all the new videos.